Hey, what's up, everybody? So, normally I would be doing this in the car, but since I'm going to be having my cousin with me today, that I got to fix that one, that how did this get made thing up there. I think that's been like that for a while. But yeah, so like I said, my cousin's going to be with me, so I don't want to like force her to wait or anything like that. And I'm also running a little late because uh, those pup needs to potty and he's taking a while. But nonetheless, we're seeing The Trap today, and I know it's not really a horror movie, and I kind of said, "Oh, I want to leave the stuff of horror movies," but I've heard some things about this movie, and it might be one of those "it's so bad it's good" type of things. So I kind of want to cover it on this, um, but I don't know what to expect. Now, going into it, I can tell you what I do know is that kind of what we see in the trailer is what we get for the stuff that is like the Josh Hartnett stuff. I kind of just want to see him do a really good job. I really like Josh Hartnett. I'm sour that he hasn't really been in a whole lot of things in a really long time. Um, but I know that there's a lot of politics involved with that nonetheless. But um, yeah, I mean, I just want to have a good time. I heard that this is a little bit of a nepotism type of movie, that there's a little more focus on M. Shyamalan's daughter than anything because she's the pop star in it, if you didn't know. And that a lot of the beginning is like a concert of her. So we'll be back. We'll talk about it when I get back from the theater, and we'll do, I guess, a whole review, spoiler free and spoilerific at the same time. So I guess I'll see you in a little bit. Hey, what's up, everybody? So normally I'd be upstairs doing all the stuff. Look, it's Ace is here. Um, and I'd be doing it on the other camera and all the other fun stuff. But please excuse the fan in the background, but it's really hot where I'm at right now, and especially where the rest of the recording equipment is. So you're gonna get more of a phone video type of review while I'm sitting here with the fan and everything. I haven't done something like this from this side in a long time. Um, so non spoiler for the first part of it, and then we'll get into spoilers and everything like that. Um, so not all of my assumptions, at least from what I heard from people, were correct. Part of it was, but not everything. The biggest thing that I'm going to tell you is that yes, a lot of it where it takes place in the beginning of the movie at times feels like it's a concert. And there's a couple of times where I was literally sitting there like, why is this still going on? Why is it like, why are we so focused on the music? And again, you have to go into it knowing that it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter that is playing the pop star in this movie. And so, kind of once you know that, then you're going to be in a ride for, yeah, that nepotism. Um, and I'm gonna be spoiling things later on, so I don't really want to spoil things right now. And in fact, this part might even be, quicker than I normally do those things. One, because I gotta, recording on this thing rather than recording upstairs, and two, because there's not much more I can say. You're not gonna get your like standard like M. Night Shyamalan twist. There's one twist in the movie that's at towards the end, but it's not like uh, as I talk about that part and as I spoil things, I'll get more into it. But I'm just kind of like, at that point, I really was like, whatever. And there were multiple times where I was like, is this actually going to be done? Is it going to finish? Is this movie over? Are they trying to set up for Trap 2, Trap Boogaloo? Like, what are they trying to do? Even trappier? I just don't know what exactly they wanted to do, or what he wanted to do with the rest of the thing, other than be really a vehicle for his daughter, because that's kind of what it turned into as we were going in further into the movie in ways that I just didn't understand. The dialogue is not very good. There is one scene in this movie where I literally said to myself out loud, this is what I want from the movie. This is what I wanted. I want more of this. And it's just one scene in the whole movie. Um, and it's just, I just wanted more. I wanted a lot more out of this movie. So, unfortunately, that's not what we got. We just got something that was kind of mediocre. I will say that relatively the performances range from bad to actually great. I think Josh Hartnett is really good in this movie. I think that he stands in there great. There are a couple of things towards the end that I was like, oh, okay, but I think it's just the character, not necessarily him. And he has, like I said, there's just one scene. There's one scene in particular where he is so good, and he does a couple other things that are so good, but it makes me want the rest of that. Like, it makes me wonder, where is that movie in this whole movie? What happened? Why did we have to go through all of this stuff for however long? And I feel like either you should be staying in one place for the entire movie and keeping the cat and mouse game going, but it's so few and far between that it's like, why did we spend so much time on this? And then when you start doing some of the cat and mouse stuff, it's not good. It's just it's really drawn out, and it's really just kind of mediocre. Like, we need to figure out what to do with the last 40 minutes of this movie, and we need to figure out how to get it to the end, and then we don't even know, oh my god, we're running out of, we still have more time that we need, so we need to pad this movie a little bit more. And that was my biggest problem. Now, there are plenty of spots that are laughable that make it a so bad it's good. Is it like The Happening? No, it's nothing like that, where that's like literally a so bad it's good. And it's funny because I saw a poster that Mel Gibson is directing a new movie with Mark Wahlberg in it too. I was very surprised that I saw a poster for that, and it made me laugh because I was really trying to compare it. Is this on the list of M. Night Shyamalan's worst movies that are there? No. I'd say it's a mediocre. I'd say it's right to me, like, maybe it's below Knock at the Cabin in the Woods, right? Where I think that maybe that's even too high on the list. It's no Lady in the Water. It's, it's no The Happening. It's nothing like that. But I wouldn't put it towards the top, or even maybe it's just like a little bit below the middle. It's definitely below average. It's, in getting the final rating of the movie, I would give it 2 out of 5 butchers. Like, I was really interested, and then there's just things they do in the beginning of the movie that it makes sense in terms of the way that everything's written and what they're trying to do, or what he's trying to do with the film, but it's like, it's not enough. It's like mysterious, and then all of a sudden, as it gets to, it's like it's a big point at the end of the movie too, where it just gets so ridiculous, so ridiculous. So this is a watch it at your own risk. This is, I went and saw it because, like I said before, I literally have like free tickets to go see some movies, and I just really wanted to see if it was as bad as I'd been hearing. And unfortunately, to me, yeah, it is. It definitely sits in that 2 out of 5 range. And the biggest thing, and this is the only spoiler-ish thing that you can get, because I don't. I've heard people say, how do you have a serial killer movie without anybody dying? Because there isn't anybody that dies in this movie. Maybe one. I think one person dies in the entire movie. And the thing is that if you're doing a cat and mouse game, nobody needs to die. So I kind of argue that point with it, if that's all you're trying to do. But at the same time, just some of the shit is dumb. It made me wish that more people had died in this movie for whatever they were doing. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching the first part of this review. We're going to go right into spoilers in just a moment, so stick around if you want to get spoiled about the movie and to get some rants on some things that drove me mad while I was watching it. So I'll see you in just a bit. Thank you guys for checking out this portion, and make sure that you like and subscribe if you like the content here. And if you're ready for it, let's get into spoilers. All right, so we are in the spoilers of the movie, and good lord, there is just so much dumb shit that's going on in the movie. And the first thing that I really want to talk about is what I was talking about towards the end of the non-spoiler section, which is like the mysterious thing that's going on. Because it starts off perfectly fine. I feel like a lot of these bad movies always start off pretty decent, and then they just get terrible as the movie rolls along, and that's fine. Where you got, Josh Hartnett with his daughter, the butcher and his daughter Haley, or Riley, I think is her name, and they're going to the concert. You know that this concert one had sold out, and so she was doing a day show, which that's not the mysterious part. And I kind of wish at some point that some concerts did do day shows. Like they did them in the middle of the day. It'd be kind of fun. It's funny because I'm going to one that actually is a day show in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be going to see System of a Down and Deftones and the Mars Volta, and that's a day show in fucking Golden Gate Park, which is kind of cool. But I wish there would be more. Whereas the older bands that I would go and see would do one in the middle of the day, so I can have my nights to myself too, just not during the week. But they're like going there and they see, you know, whatever Raven her name is, Ice Raven, Black Raven, Dark Raven, Ice Nine Ravens. I don't know what the fuck her title is, but you know, and that's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter in it. And she wrote all the music for the film and performed all the music for the film. And the music is fine. It is what it is. If you're into pop stuff, it's pop. It's very like, it's not trying to be like a Taylor Swift or like extremely pop. I would say it's a step down, maybe, and maybe this is gonna be a lot of hate, I don't know, but a step down from like Olivia Rodrigo type of pop. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's not my cup of tea. For those that know me, you know, I'm more of a, you know, rock metal guy in general. I like some stuff, but the music really has to catch me. But the problem that becomes with this movie is it's like, we're gonna play 30-second to 2-minute clips of the songs that are there, and where we're thinking that, you know, as slowly as Josh Hartnett's Butcher is slowly figuring out that something's really weird here, because he starts seeing like a bunch of cops all over the place, and he starts seeing, you know, them bring people out of the audience to do questioning and stuff, and he's really trying to figure out things that are going on. That stuff's kind of interesting, but you don't need a 2 to 3 minute fucking music section and then him just like looking around. What's going on over here? What could it possibly be? Like, that's the type of shit that you've got going on in this movie. In the first, like, I'd say about first hour of this film. Which sucks, to be honest with you. And then everything that you see in the trailer is true. That all stuff is... You get already. You just don't get what's in the last 40 minutes of the trailer as he's like trying to make his way out of the whole place. So again, getting to the point of what I was trying to make, the mystical thing is that he's seeing images of his mom. I thought it was just some old random Asian lady. In fact, it looked like Alex Borstein's character from Mad TV. You know, the one that's, he looked like a man. That guy, like that lady, I thought that was her. I literally thought it was Alex Borstein, like walking around in that costume going, because it was laughable that he's like in the men's bathroom and then he sees her. But it's to get down to like profiling of the Butcher, and that, yeah, he's had a strained relationship with his mom, and that's what caused him to go on a killing spree and all this stuff. And you find out that he's a firefighter, so he uses a lot of that stuff to his advantage. And like the interesting stuff that we really should be like figuring out, or like, how about you start the movie before he goes to the big like concert and everything? You start with him actually abducting somebody and showing how bad this Butcher guy is. Like, we know that he's bad because they say that he's bad and that he's being tracked down by all these police, but we never see what he does except for, like, I think, well, not see what he does, but see why he's so bad, except for, like, one scene in the movie, which is the best scene in the whole movie, and it lasts, like, a minute. And that's it. Like, it would be a literal small clip for the podcast if I was putting it into the podcast, if I was doing stuff in this movie. Like, it would be the least amount of clips possible, because most of this would just be her music most of the time. So, you know, there's the subplot that is fucking stupid, that, and I almost said another word entirely that I don't think I can say on YouTube. But it's stupid with, like, the daughter and her friends, and her friends have, like, you know, separated themselves, and we're in the social media age, so she's seeing her friends' posts on social media, and she's not being included in them, but, you know, that's why her dad's taking her there instead of her friends going, you know, and being the ones that they're all gonna go hang out with and do all that fun stuff. Like, that's, like, a plot point in this movie, and it rears its ugly head towards the end of the concert scene, where you, like, the mom's, the daughter of the mom keeps running into Josh Hartnett, keeps running into the Butcher, and being like, oh, it's just girls, and they, you know, they'll be friends, and they'll get through it. And then she starts being, like, uber aggressive with him when he's like, look, this is not the time or place, because when he's trying to figure out how to get the fuck out of there. and he almost snaps on her until something happens somewhere else where some guy is like, he thinks this is all set up for him, and so he panics and tries to get the hell out of there, but the police catch him, and then they realize that that's not the butcher, that's actually just somebody else who is also a piece of shit, that's done some stuff. And he probably, I think they're inferring that since it's like, a concert of mostly teens, that he's probably there to be a bad guy to those people in that way, but you can't be quite sure. But I feel like it's kind of inferred that that's exactly kind of what's going on there. And so, and then he finally is just like, oh, we'll go have pizza this Saturday at 1 p.m. We'll all get together and everything will be fine. And so, like, the big thing is, the big reveal, because of one of the ways that he finally gets out of the place, is that he convinces M. Night Shyamalan, who's in this movie, who plays the uncle of the pop star when he's really the fucking father of the pop star. Even in the theater went, liar. And, like, he convinces him that his daughter has leukemia, which gets her on stage to dance with Raven. And when she does, that makes the girls, they do reaction shots of her two ex-friends in the audience, and the one friend getting mad at the mom, why is it her and not me, for like comedic effect, but it's fucking stupid. I was groaning so much of that shit. But yeah, again, like, most of the movie is him just like going through. You see the guy from the trailer that's selling the shirts that tells him about the butcher, and he even shows him a picture. He's like, are you squeamish? And then Josh Hartnett's character's like, do you know who I am? Because if you don't know who I am, then no, I'm not squeamish at all. And he shows him like a picture that his friend got of a person being all hacked up and everything like that. And Josh Hartnett kind of like looks at it, and kind of like part of him in his face is like, oh, I did a good job there. And the other part's like, oh yeah, pretend to be disgusted at that picture, which he kind of does. So, you have that scene that plays through. You have the scene with the oil that is also in the trailer, where he turns up the oil to 450 and throws like 3 jugs in there, and it's a way for him to get outside. And this is one of the stupidest fucking things that happens in this movie. There's a lot of stupid things, and most of the stupid things happen in the second half of the movie, or the second third of the movie, or whatever you want to say it, the third of the movie, but last act of the movie. So he goes to the roof, right? And when he goes to the roof, like, he just randomly grabs somebody's apron that he's working with, and when he goes up there, he's learned from the dude that's in the trailer, the African American gentleman that does the shirt shit. He's learned from him that there's a secret word that they have to use, which happens to be Hamilton, right? And that secret word is to be used by all the employees, so when they get asked, then they are known that, okay, yeah, you know exactly what's going on, you really do work for this place, right? So he grabs a random apron after he sets the oil on to explode, because the oil got so hot, and then the glass exploded because the oil was all contained inside of there. And so when they're trying to take care of that, he escapes the roof, tries to see if there's a way off from the roof, to find out there's a bunch of SWAT people up there, and he runs into one dude who asks him all the questions and just does all that stuff. And then he asks him for a card, and this is not the dumb part yet, by the way. And then he magically, inside the pockets of the apron that he's wearing, it's some dude's wallet is in there, and it happens to have the card. So some dude went on break and left his fucking wallet inside of his apron that he can just get. Okay, I can accept that type of like Deus Ex Machina bullshit that's gonna have that, the thing just happens to be there. Sometimes you're lucky, in the way that he does things. Whatever, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me the most is that, so at the point that the daughter's there on the floor, at one point too, they have a special guest singer that comes out, and he like rises out of this thing, and then Josh Hartnett's character looks over, he's like, wouldn't it be really cool, like, or look at that cool like stage thing over there? And she's like, yeah, Dad, it's really cool. And she's filming the show, and she's really into the show. Wouldn't it be cool to go down there and like see what's down there? How about we go down there? Let's go down there and go do stuff. How about let's go? Like, what father? Like, and then she's like, Dad, you're acting awfully weird. Yeah, no shit. Because what father's gonna be like, hey, let's go commit a crime together? You want to commit a crime together? You want to go down there where we're not supposed to be and do all these things? Yeah, let's go ahead and go on down there. And so that's not even the dumb part that's going through. It's silly, but like it's somebody that's out of desperation, right? So I get that. I can understand that at the same time, but it's still laughable that he's just even trying to go with his daughter and do the whole thing of, well, let's go down there, let's go do this stuff, and there's a bunch of security guards that are all going to try to stop us, and you're going to create a giant fucking scene with the whole thing. And meanwhile, there is this like, you know, FBI psychoanalyst person profiler that is there, and like he's stolen a walkie-talkie too, which he doesn't always have on him, but he has on him in the most opportune times, and like he puts it in his back pocket at least at one point, and he's wearing the headpiece from the back pocket, and nobody thinks anything different, that all of a sudden he's got this like government style earpiece on him with the wire and everything, like the, you know, the circular tube, the plastic tube that comes down. He's got all this stuff on him that he's in the crowd. I get it, he's in the crowd, and you know, the patrons around him probably aren't paying attention, but all the security and police that are looking for this guy, to see this guy in this crowd with his shit inside of his ear, like nobody's gonna give a shit about that. Nobody's gonna even like notice that shit. That seems fucking ridiculous, especially when you're looking for a fucking serial killer. Makes no fucking sense. But so, you know, he's listening in as she's profiling him and everything like that. And so what he decides to do is, when he finds out that, hey, a girl gets brought on stage every show to be the dream girl, and he's going to convince M. Night Shyamalan to have his daughter be the dream girl that goes up on stage. And when he gets that opportunity, right, and they give him like backstage passes, because the only way to get out of here is to go backstage, according to the one dude from the trailer, who I can't even remember his name. I think it's not Cooper, but that's the name that he gives. Whatever that dude's name is. Alvin. I'm just going to call him Alvin. Maybe Simon and Theodore are going to fucking show up in this thing too. But when he gets there to go backstage, right, and they're going to let him up there, they run into the SWAT guy that was on the fucking roof, that got a good look at his fucking face and lied directly to that guy's face, that said, hey, he works for this place, but now he's enjoying himself in the crowd and he's got a daughter? What? Wouldn't you question that shit? This is one of the dumbest fucking things in this movie. And the dumbest fucking thing is coming up soon. This was just so stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you have this? If you have a different actor or whatever, and he's like looking at him like, huh, I've seen you before. Where have you been? I'm not sure. What is your name? No, that is, what is your quest? Okay, that's fine. What is your favorite color? Okay, you can go through. Like, literally, it's so stupid. That to me, it was like, I'm just like, why wouldn't you question it? Why wouldn't you think that character wouldn't question it? If it was a different actor, sure, who gives a shit? I don't mind. That's fine. You can convince them, oh, they got the backstage passes and everything like that. But he said he was working there that day when he talked to him earlier, and now he's not working there. He's hanging out with his daughter. Wouldn't you say, hey, we're going to have to ask you a couple questions because I've seen you before? Nope, just lets them right on through. And so they watch from the side of the stage, and the little girls get pissed off because, hey, fucking Riley's on stage and dancing with Raven. And then this is a line. This is a line in a fucking M. Night Shyamalan movie. There's another guest singer that's going to come on with Raven onto the stage. This is a fucking line in this. It's a fucking line in this movie. And I'm not going to be able to say it verbatim because I know the gist of the line, but I won't be able to say it verbatim. So the guy is being seen backstage. She's getting ready to do her encore. They're watching her from the side of the stage. They said, once you go up, you guys just watch it back here. And then he, like, rescues a dehydrated girl from the audience, even though there's no pit, but she's worked herself into a frenzy. I get that happens at pop shows, especially with young girls and everything like that. So I'm not really upset about that, to be honest, but he goes and he saves her, and he starts like giving her ice pack and getting her some juice and acting very fatherly to her. And yeah, this is the dual sides of this guy. He's a ruthless killer, but he loves his kids and he loves his family, and he's such a good family man. And even they mention it towards the end of the movie, where he's always managed to keep these two sides of his life in check and never have them merge together, and then that's what causes problems towards the end of the movie. But again, so they're on the side of the stage, and this dude who's going to be singing with her, because she owes everything to this dude, he's talking about, oh, I can't believe that you gave me milk instead of giving me the chai that I wanted. Do you want me to poop myself on stage? You're trying to make me poop on stage. Like that's literally the fucking line in this movie, right? And there are dumber fucking lines than that, but that is one of the dumbest ones that happens to be in this movie. It's so ridiculous. And now Zach has taken Ace's place. As you can see, Zach has decided to join me over here. Um, and he's groaning because I'm yelling about a movie. But so they get that part done, right? So she does her encore, then they're backstage, and then he's like, "Okay, can I get out backstage, to my car from here?" And he's like, "Yes." Oh, he's like, "Oh, thank God, I can get out of here." And then the way that he has to go through, the lady tells him, "Oh, you're gonna have to go through a police checkpoint," and he's like, "What? That sucks." And then he can overhear the FBI profiler talk from like a viewing room in the back, and they're like, "Oh, Raven wants to say goodbye to you and properly introduce herself to you and everything and do that stuff, so you're just gonna have to wait here." And then they follow Raven. She goes into the FBI room and talks with them like she's a part of the fucking case. What? What the fuck is this? I understand that the artist is going to basically say, "Hey, we're going to use you as a sting," and that's it. We're not going to bring you in and we need your help to profile this guy too. But she wants to learn, oh, so what could he possibly be? Oh, he has mommy issues? That's what it could be? Why would he do something like this? Well, you see, when he was very young, his mom was really hard on him. She wouldn't let him play for the local baseball team, so he couldn't get his trophy. He always wanted that trophy. I mean, I would have understood if that was the way it was, right, Zach? You want a trophy, don't you? And I always make sure I give you every trophy so you don't become a serial killer, just like Josh Hartnett's character in this movie. Yes, yes. As you can see, he's a perfect stand-in for Josh Hartnett in this movie, or Raven, one of the two, with the whole thing. So he overhears this, and then he overhears too that the only way that he can get out of there. Oh yeah, and there's a gay joke as well, as the guy that was gonna poop himself. Like he says hi to the girl, and then he looks at Josh Hartnett and is like, "Hi." Like that type of thing. I'm like, really? This is fucking 2024. Do you really need to be doing that type of joke? Like, that is really old and dumb. But anyway, so he finds out that the only way that he's going to be able to leave this place without any type of, police check is if he's part of Raven's inner circle. So he goes and he says, when he talks to Raven, she gives him a bunch of stuff. And then he's like, "Hey, can I talk to you separately? Would that be cool?" And she was like, "Yeah." He's like, because when he explained to him not Shyamalan's character, he's like, she doesn't want anybody to know about it. She's really hurtful about it. She survived, and she didn't think she was going to be here, but she doesn't want it to like hold her down. And so he goes back with her after using that excuse again because she falls for it fucking too. And that's when he threatens her. And this is the best scene in the fucking movie. This is Josh Hartnett at his like best acting that I have seen in a long fucking time. Get it? Like him turning at the drop of a dime. Like he's the dorky dad for most of the movie, which is perfectly fine for what it is. But here he actually becomes like the serial killer guy and becomes very, very, very serious. And it's really good. It's really, really good. The dialogue works really well with it. Like everything about it is set up really great. And that's when I said to myself, this is what I fucking wanted. But what I get is absolute garbage for the rest of it. Because guess who becomes the heroine of the movie? His fucking daughter. That's right, because she gets dragged out there, they leave, and he's just like, "Oh, you can drop me off at a corner." And then she's like, "I have to stall and make sure that he gets captured because I'm just as smart as the FBI." And like, she's like, looks over at Riley and she's like, "Hey, I want to see where you live. Is that okay?" Josh Hartnett's in the backseat like, "What? What are you trying to do?" And the girl, of course, is really excited. And he loves his daughter so much that he's just going to be like, "Fine, I'm going to let it happen." She calls her mom. She's like, Mom, you never guess. Raven, she wants to come over and she wants to hang out and she wants to be my BFF forever. Man, can that happen? So she can come over, she can be my best friend. We're going to go play with her My Little Ponies or whatever it is kids do nowadays. Probably something else. I know it's definitely not like a Bratz doll or some shit like that. But that's what we're going to do. And you know what? Then we're going to do makeup and then we're going to scissor. But maybe not the last part because I'm probably too young for that. But I'll imagine that's gonna happen at some day. Like, it's just like ridiculous that happens. Then they go to the house, And then when they're at the house, like there's the cat and mouse game that I want between him and the fucking cops. But instead, I get it between him and Raven. Why? And she even like profiles him at one point. Like when they're in a car and they're about to leave, and then she starts looking over because she steals his phone. Like he has this app on his phone that is what is controlling the whole thing with like this guy Spencer down in one of his basements, and this guy Spencer is gonna die, and that's how he threatens Raven. I'm gonna kill him unless you get us out of here. That's the only way we're gonna do this, brother, is that if you don't get me out of here, I'm gonna kill this guy you don't even know. And he has to enter a password. Remember this. He has to enter a password every time that he wants to look into it. Every fucking time we see him, he puts in the fucking numbers and gets all that together for those things. And so they're sitting in the living room, right? Because like he's trying to figure out what she's gonna do. The wife is like made a bunch of like sweets and all these things for Raven. She's coming over there and all this bullshit. And they're sitting in the living room, and then Raven's like, "Oh, I know. What if I play a song?" To which we get another 2-minute fucking song out of Raven, some random ballad, which is Riley's favorite fucking song to play, I guess, on the fucking piano. And it plays it for them all the fucking time. And so she's there, and then she takes Riley's phone from her, unbeknownst to Riley. And then she's like, "Oh, well, let's get a selfie together." And she's like, "Okay, but I don't know where my phone is." And meanwhile, Josh Hartnett's got his phone, and he's like looking down at it because he was like recording them. But I think he was pretending to record them because he really was like looking in on Spencer's like, nothing better happened to that fine fucking ass. That ass is going to be mine later. You know, that type of thing that was going on there. And so she's like, "Well, how about we use your dad's?" And just snatches the phone and takes a bunch of selfies and then runs to the fucking bathroom. And that's where she accesses the same fucking app without a passcode. That is the dumbest thing in this movie. Besides her becoming the fucking profiler and now the protagonist of the whole goddamn movie. She just taps it and is in. No password, no nothing. She doesn't need to know. You're probably going to say, but Brian. He probably was already logged into it. So that's how she was able to get into it. Not so fast, because if he was recording and she got out of the app to go take selfies, they're out of the fucking app. So now she locked herself in the bathroom, right? And after she's locked herself into the bathroom, what does she do? She decides that she's going to go into the app and go check on Spencer and see if she can help him, because she's got to help him. She's got to be the pop star of the FBI. She's like fucking Jem at this point, right? She's truly, truly outrageous, and not in the really cool way that Jem was. But she basically, oh my God, this is dumb too. She goes and, talks to him and gets him to remember something. He's like, "Oh, well, he said he needed help in this car, and so he just opened his van door and he snatched me." And we do see the video later on as well. And so I couldn't see much. He had a bag over my head, but I managed to see a lion statue with a broken head. And then I saw a blue door. I could see a blue door from the reflection of the rear view as he was backing in. Okay, broken lion's head, blue door. And then what does she fucking do? I'm going to give you guys a moment. You can put down in the comments if you were right with your guess. I'm going to let you guys guess and figure out exactly what she did. And to make sure that they found this guy. Because they did find this guy. And they managed to rescue this guy just in time, which of course pisses off Josh Hartnett. But what things could they possibly do or could she possibly do as a pop star to, I don't know, help find this guy and find people that magically live in the area and can give the correct things? If your guess was go live on Instagram, you're fucking correct. That's what she fucking does. It could have been TikTok, but she went live, right? And it's fucking Instagram. I don't care if they can't afford to get Instagram for this movie or not. She's on fucking Instagram. And so she loads up live on Instagram. "Oh my God, everybody, I need help.
Please help me. I need to find a place. If you live in the Philadelphia area, please find a place for me that has a blue door with a broken lion head. Oh my god, viewer, that's you? You know where that is? You need to call the cops and then get over there right away because there's a man named Spencer in there that desperately needs your help.
I've never eye rolled so hard in a movie. It's fine using technology and doing these things, but it is the most just forced thing that I have seen in a movie and most cringy thing I have seen in a movie in a really long fucking time. She's saving the day with the power of Instagram Live. You gotta be fucking kidding me. So we have this wonderful thing to where now Josh Hartnett gets the keys to the bathroom and he's able to open the door because he's got the master lock or whatever the fuck it is. He's got the sword of power, however you want to say it. He is now He-Man. And so he gets in there, takes her to the car, and he wants her to zip tie her hands together. But of course, she's not going to do that. And instead, she starts like profiling his ass directly, like she's an FBI fucking level profiler, because she's only talked to the old lady that we've had before. But no, she knows best because she's the best fucking singer FBI agent profiler that we have ever seen. This is fucking stupid. This is dumb. The last 40 minutes of this movie are so bad. They're just so bad that even if I didn't mind the first hour, which I really didn't mind it that much because there's good performances from Josh Hartnett as he's trying to get away, it just needed more of that. I need to figure out how to get out of here, and the fact that we had seen it the whole time makes that even just worse. So she manages to profile him to the point that he's just like, it's not going to work on me, we're going to leave. And then he opens up the garage door, and who's outside? I'm like, oh god, the cops are already going to be there, because that's the way this movie fucking works, right? That they somehow managed to get the cops there because of the Instagram Live, and they tracked her down, because even she says, they'll know where I am based upon the GPS in my phone. And he's like, of course they will. Then we're just going to throw it out down the road just a little ways down. That's going to be it. And no, it's not the police, it's his fucking family. Because just like Vin Diesel, all of a sudden everything for him is about family. You know, that's the type of shit that he's got going on here. So, because they escaped Riley's room, supposedly he locked them in there and they managed to get out. And so, since he sees them, he starts like breaking down to the point that she leaves, right? She gets out of the car, and when she gets out of the car, so she gets away with the family, right? They manage to get out of there, and then he goes back into the house because all of a sudden the SWAT agents come, and it looks like only one car shows up at the beginning, but then a bunch of them. I'm like, oh my god, great. You have this great serial killer and you're going to show one SWAT truck with 6 people? That's it? And then all of a sudden from around the corner, okay, they surround the house. But of course, and like he goes and he starts to get ready to be caught and everything like that, and he's putting things away and he's cleaning up the house like a good dad does. And, you know, the kids are being taken away with the mom, and then Raven goes into her limo but stays there talking to the profiler for a moment. I'm like, just get her the fuck out of there. She doesn't need to be in there. But ho ho ho, you think this is the end of the movie? This ain't the fucking end of the movie, because we got another 15 fucking minutes of this shit. So you better strap on your fucking seatbelt, mister, because we're gonna continue to go down this shit fucking highway that we've got going on here. So, of course, he manages to get out of the house in a special secret compartment that he's got in the house, and then he dresses up like a SWAT agent, however the fuck he got that costume. So maybe we have another death in the movie that I just didn't even know was in there, because they don't show it. And so he leaves, and where does he go? He kidnaps Raven and puts her and takes her in the limo. As they drive off, then they stop at one point, and he handcuffs her inside the car, and it's just like, you're gonna be my next victim. There's something about you that I saw, that like, you were complete, and everybody is severed. That's a dumb fucking line. It's for the butcher, and he butchers people. He severs them. Get it? Get it? Because it's also about people are emotionally severed. Get it? And because she had a song that she sang about in there where she's talking about just let it go, and it put your phone light up if everything has been let go from you and you begin to forgive and forget.
And don't forget, and he's of course the only person in the audience that doesn't, because he doesn't forgive and forget whatever the fuck his mom did. And so he drives her to an extremely busy area, and it's not even tension filled, because they're like, I know what's going to happen. I just talked about Tarot, which was very paint by numbers, and for an M. Night Shyamalan movie, this is extremely paint by numbers. Anyway, so she's in the limo, she's handcuffed to the bar. She's fucking Superman, by the way, because she's able to, like, she's not moving it very much, but she's able to unhook the goddamn bar so that she can get the handcuffs off. But before she does, she's able to roll down the window, because the butcher, the smartest fucking criminal that's ever lived to be in this world, doesn't think, maybe I should lock all the windows. You think? Maybe the only way that people can open the windows is from you, not them in the back seat? But of course she does, and there's a big giant crowd. Oh my God, it's Raven back there. Oh my God, guys. To which she's like, help me. And then they start surrounding the car, and then she gets off the handcuffs, and then she just walks out of it, and that's the last we ever see of Raven. But she gets some help from some people, but all of a sudden the cops show up, and they decide to surround the car, and he saw a bunch of, like, Raven t-shirts in the front seat, and I really thought that he was gonna, like, roll down the window and throw them around so that they could just escape. But no, that's not what he does. Instead, he rolls them and makes a doll of himself inside the fucking SWAT gear, because we actually get to see him outside with, like, a hoodie with half his face fucking, like, cleared, like this is the infamous title screen or some shit for the infamous video game, your whatever the fuck his name was back there, Cole, or even better, Prototype, right? That, if you've ever played that game before, you know what I'm talking about. And so he's out there, and then he leaves. They can't catch him because he's gone already. He must have escaped with the car. I don't even know how he got out of the goddamn car, because the doors never fucking opened. The only door that opened was the one that let fucking Raven out of the damn car. So how did he get out of the car? They were completely surrounding the fucking thing. It doesn't make any sense how he got out. But you know what? This is a movie, so I'll let that one slide for this one. And so after he gets that, where does he go? He goes to the only place that they know he's going to go to. We go back to his house. And his wife is talking to the profile, and she's like, you can get out of this if you want to, because here comes the twist in this movie. This is the big twist. This is the big twist from M. Night Shyamalan in this fucking movie. Yeah, here it comes. And you think that it's just because she's like, oh no, I want to be alone. It's not that what they're talking about. She just doesn't want the kids around, and she's willing to do what the FBI needs her to do. Because what we come to find out when the butcher finally does come home, I'm like, how does he get in the house? Makes perfect sense now. So this I'm not going to complain about, because it was another trap. This was the final trap for him, was his family, and him actually coming back to do it. Because what we find out is, through conversations and what he'd figured out as well, after listening to everybody and seeing the receipt, is that the reason that he got caught was because his wife caught him, right? His wife is the one that got suspicious, thought that he was cheating because he was working long days, long nights, would come home, but the weird thing to her is that he would smell like medical cleaning supplies. And he's like, there's nothing I can really do about that, because there's no other way to get that shit out of your clothes or to get blood stains and everything off you. So, like, that's where he messed up. And he was more upset that he let the two lives mix into each other and that he fucked up rather than it being her. But he was really, he's like, I'm hurt. I'm angry. I've never been this angry. I've been hurt before, but not hurt like this. And so she explains that she found, like, one of the safe houses he has, and he's like, that safe house was just a place for me to get away when I wanted to not bring my work home, talking about his killing, and calm himself down so that he could be normal when he came back, right? But she found nothing there, but knew that this place was weird with some of the stuff that was there. And then the only thing that she had on her that could plant him at that scene of the crime was a receipt from the concert tickets that he bought. She left at the house because she had that for some reason inside of her purse. So it was, and that's how they set up everything, right? They set it up, and they even say at one point, the reason they set up the sting here is for some reason, he had bought concert tickets and they didn't know why he was going to be at this concert. So he's getting ready to kill her, and she's like, the last thing, let's just do one last thing before you go after me and I have to pay the piper for what I've done to you. Let's finish up Riley's cake, her pie that's there. Not that pie, okay, you people. I know what you were thinking. I know what you're thinking. Aussie pie. Aussie pies are good. You should try one time. You don't have to get them in Australia either. You can get them around here.
But anyway, so they sit down and it's I actually like the line that he says to her. He's like, "This isn't gonna slow anything. I'm gonna eat this in 5 bites and be done, and that's gonna be it." And I was like, "Oh, there's something in the pie." If you didn't get the twist was the fact that the wife was the one that set him up the entire time. That's the twist in the movie. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear, but that's the twist. Which is okay for what it is, but it's not like a big giant revelation, huge twist or anything like that. And so, he eats the pie to find out that she laced the pie with some of his narcotics, which is the things that he used to incapacitate people before he butchered them. And so while he's slowly fading away and his body is not being able to work, all of a sudden, and he's trying to attack her with the butcher's knife as his one last thing of revenge, suddenly his mom shows up in the doorway and starts reprimanding and say that he's not a complete monster, he still has some good in him, and that brings him to tears. But he decides to go attack his mom for some reason, and when he steps in the living room, that's when 2 cops tase the ever-loving shit of him, and then he fucking the mountains one of the cops, but he doesn't completely kill him. I'm gonna say that he died, but I don't think that he actually died, and then they just keep tasing him, and we find out that the old woman in the door is his mother. Not his mother, or not his mother, sorry, the old woman in the door is the FBI profiler pretending to be his mother because he's so hopped up on anything, he sees his mom. And that's the end of the movie. Oh, no, it's not the end of the movie. I forgot. There's another little twist of sorts because we have to set up a possible sequel of Trap 2, even trappier. The fact that they arrest him and then he goes over, he's like, "Give me a second." He picks up his daughter's bike and it's like, oh, he's still trying to be a father. His daughter runs over, gives him a big hug, and then she goes in the house with mom, ever knowing that her dad's a serial killer and she shouldn't be giving him hugs anyway. And so he gets locked up in the back of a van, but really he stole the stem from the bike and he pulls it out of his sleeve. Like, they didn't even bother to fucking check him after he fucking used the bike to make sure he didn't have anything, because these cops are the stupidest fucking cops in the world. No. So he pulls out the tube from his fucking arm, ties it, and unloosens the handcuffs, and then he gives his, honestly, this is like a really cool Norman Bates, smile into the camera as the camera fades to black and we get more fucking M. Night Shyamalan daughter fucking pop music. So that's the fucking movie. It's just, again, the first hour of the movie is fine. It just needed more umph. I don't necessarily need the killing, but I want the cat and mouse game in there. I want him to almost be caught by the cops perfectly, but the way that he acts with his daughter is just really ridiculous, so that even she catches on, and the way the movie does it, she catches on. But it's just so dumb. It's just really dumb. And the last bit of the movie is just like, we got to run out the time because that's the way it is. So, let me know if you've seen this movie. Let me know what your thoughts are. Am I completely wrong that this was one of the dumbest movies I've seen all year? This is actually probably in the running for the worst movie I've seen this year. Even though it's only a 2 out of 5, it's almost a 1. It's very close to being a 1. But if it really wasn't for Josh Hartnett, this movie wouldn't be a 1. I give the movie a point alone on his performance in this movie. Again, the music's not bad, but there's no reason that the daughter, Raven, needed to be a hero in this movie and become the FBI's best profiler. There was plenty of other characters they could have used in the slot that had more relevance to what it is, but no, this is really nepotism to me in the terms of that. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you check out the rest of the reviews on the channel. If you like the content here, like, share, review, or rate, all that fun stuff. Subscribe and do all that stuff. And if you guys checked out last time, I added a full episode of the podcast that I did on Imaginary. I think I'm going to be putting the tarot one up as well. But let me know if you guys want me to continue doing that. So I know that they're long, but it seems like Google Podcasts is going away and YouTube is where they want them to live. So I think it might just be another channel for some. And I know those of you, if you have YouTube Premium, you can actually listen without the screen being on. But if I were to upload more podcasts like that, do you want something more? Do you want, other visuals to go along with it? I can't use clips from the movie because clips from the movie are going to get the channel struck. But it seems like the clips that I use in the podcast don't have any effect on what's going on. I might also be making a new intro song for everything, because the one that I'm using right now, even though I purchased actually the copyright for it, it's being struck. So
I can do something so I can have a better intro song, but it might be maybe for YouTube only. Just let me know your comments below if that's something that you guys are interested in. Otherwise, check out the rest of the socials. I'll link below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review, and you guys take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.